Okay, and we are live. Today we are making some fall cupcake topper ideas, and they're kind of like little treats. So you could even have just these cute little treats, or you can put them on top of a cupcake. I'm melting down some dark chocolate melting wafers, and then I also have a couple of colors already melting in the microwave. I got some orange and red here. Starting to get a little bit melty. It's a little on the thick side, but it looks pretty melty. I'm not seeing any big old chunks in there. Let's check our red. Okay, looking pretty good. Okay, and then just one more mix with our chocolate melts. That looks pretty good too. There's only like one little piece in there that's kind of being a butt and not melting down, but we can certainly move on. Okay, so I have some parchment paper here on a tray, and we're going to just kind of marble the colors together. We're going to leave a little bit of chocolate in here for our other cupcake topper, but for our first one, we're just going to marble these colors together. Let me get a food brush while I'm thinking about it, and also my offset spatula. Okay. So I'm just going to add some little dots of color here in the middle. Okay, and then some chocolate. Gonna just go around, just gonna be really random. Add even a little bit more color on top of some of those spots. Okay, so I'm gonna give that a little tap on the bottom and let it kind of settle together. And then we could take a stick tool, which will be like really thin lines going throughout. Actually, I'm gonna start with that because I'm working with such a small space. If it was a bigger area, then I'd use my offset spatula first. But I just have this metal stick tool that's like for cake testing and that kind of thing. So then I'm just gonna work my way through it and just kind of marble it together a little bit more. A couple of different ways. I feel like I need to add a little bit more color in one spot, so I can do that too. I just want to make sure to work a little bit quickly to make sure it doesn't set. Kind of nice little, a little bit more chocolate over this way. I feel like we're pretty good on orange, maybe just a smidge over here with the red. I'm gonna give that another tap. And another pass with the stick tool to marble those sections. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And even a little bit more tapping on the bottom. So it's nice and flat on the top. Also gets rid of some air bubbles. You might see those kind of popping right around here. Okay, that looks pretty good. It's a little bit thicker. I think that's actually going to be better for our topper. So if it's too thin, it's kind of easy to melt in your hands and break a little bit easier. So I keep pounding the bottom to make sure those little air bubbles go away too. Okay, that looks pretty good. Our marbling is nice and pretty. This would also be a really fun way to make some bark. But if you're working with like a bigger surface area, you might want to heat up like the pan or something to make sure the melts don't start to set too quickly. That's the only issue, but this would be super fun for a fall bark. All right, so we're setting that to the side. I think I want it to fully set, so I'm gonna pop it in the fridge. There we go, okay. And while that's setting, then we can do our other cupcake topper, which I've actually shared this one before. I share it, I think, about once a year, but I just always love it so much. I use it, or I make them at least one time every fall because they're always just so much fun. And they also are like the perfect little treat topper for cupcakes and for cheesecake even. I think either last year or the year before, I made these little decorations, and they're the simple acorn little toppers. Oh, I have somebody in the chat. Thank you so much for joining. What originally inspired you to start creating content, and how has your journey changed since then? Oh, I love that question. I think honestly, I was very heavily influenced by like BuzzFeed was super popular. Like that heyday of BuzzFeed, I guess you could call it, was when I was in college. And so of course, you know, to kind of unwind or listen to something a little bit fun, then I would watch like the Try Guys and BuzzFeed Unsolved and all that kind of stuff. And so I, at one point, I was just like, I really would love to do a YouTube channel because I've always loved creating, whether it's crafts or whether it's food crafting. I just always love creating. And so originally I actually thought about doing a craft channel, but then I started doing food crafting stuff. And that just really was my, you know, main passion. And so that's kind of how that started, particularly during the pandemic, when it was like the first couple of months. I saw this YouTube challenge that was being offered for free, and it was like a week of YouTube sessions. And I was like, I'm not really doing much else in my house at that time, so I decided to sign up for it. And day 3 was like, post your YouTube video or something like that. And I was like, I don't even have a channel. So that was that very first awkward video. If you really want to go back and watch it, you can, because it's still up. But yeah, that was kind of like the beginning of it. And I've definitely, it's been a huge learning curve because I went to school for chemistry, specifically a concentration in forensics, and also I minored in music. So I am not doing necessarily either of those exactly, but I still like recipe development is definitely chemistry oriented. So I do love that. And I need a little bit more on here. And I think that I've gotten more confident on camera for sure compared to especially that first video. It's just kind of been a constant journey of learning a lot of new things and adapting, and also getting over my perfectionism for sure, because it's just like I wouldn't post anything if I, you know, wanted it to be absolutely perfect. So it's been a fun journey. Let's see. I need to reposition myself. Acorn, I have my grandchildren make them for Thanksgiving. It keeps them busy. Oh yeah, this would be a great task for kids. Well, wish you the best of luck on your channel and all that success. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I also appreciate you popping in the chat and asking questions. I love that. Okay, so we just put a little bit of our melts on top of our kiss, of course, and attach it to our Nilla wafer. I always try and find the Nilla wafers that have like the most, some of them are like really chipped all along. So I just try and find like the most circular ones I can. And then just simply as adding a teeny bit more melt right to the top and put on a mini chocolate chip. And these are my favorite way to make them. Some people make them with like Nutter Butters, but I feel like for me personally, they're too thin. Pardon me today, oh my goodness. These ones have a nice little curve to them. This is the way I prefer to make them, but there are a couple different ways. But like I said, these, I make them at least once every fall for some type of project, whether it's cupcakes or it looks really cool on a cheesecake, like, what is it? Like a whipped cream kind of wreath around the cheesecake. And then adding these as little accents with some sprinkles is super cute. So that's how easy that one is. I literally just put it together. I can do another one just to show you again. It really is that quick and easy to put these together. And you don't have to use a food brush, but I do recommend it personally. You don't want to get too much chocolate underneath here because then it'll kind of spill out when you're trying to put it on top. Let's just do one more while we're waiting for our candy melts in the fridge. I feel like mine got a little bit melty yesterday. It was very, very hot. It's like it's September, but it's still over 100. That's my favorite part of fall, is when it gets that cool, crisp kind of weather going. I'm gonna center it the best I can. Just hold it there for like a few seconds, make sure it's nice and secure. And then we can add that little dot right in the middle on top and secure our little chocolate chip. Like, not only are they very quick and easy to put together, but they're also just such a simple, cute decoration. That's why I love to make these every year. Okay, so that's one of them. And then let's get out our other ones that should be set by now. Yes. Okay. These are nice and set in the fridge, and we're gonna take a couple of, oops, I was trying something earlier with these for a different cupcake topper idea, and that one didn't work out so much. I was really hoping it would, but I was using these little leaf cutters. So we have this leaf, and then we have the longer one. Just wiping it off, make sure there's no crummies from that other project. So we got that one. So we're just going to kind of pick a spot, maybe like right here, and press down. It's gonna crack other spots, unless maybe you lightly heat up the, if the cookie cutter is not covered in like this kind of coating and it's just metal, then you might be able to like heat up the cutter itself and not have as much split around it. Or you can also, like right before it fully sets, you can also cut it right then. You just need it to be mostly set at least, or else it's just gonna kind of mush it around. So we're kind of carefully poking it out here, going in all the little sections. Because if we just push in the middle, it's just gonna pop out and usually like snap. So that's what we do not want. Whoop. There's our little marble leaf. Let's do a few more. I think this one looks cool. It'll always have some little excess, so you can just kind of brush off there. This one has a lot of little grooves to try, especially like this part with the stem can be a little bit tricky. Okay, I'll be able to pop it out from the other side. And then just kind of, like I said, brush off that those little excess pieces that are kind of hanging on there. You have a little leaf. and that would be great for, like I said, cupcake topper, or even on a cake. You could have these little kind of falling down the side. You can do solid colors and then add some like vein details for the leaf to make it look a little more realistic. But for like a fun one that kind of combines the colors, I always love the colors of the leaves falling, especially like that deep red color. So this is just kind of like a fun way to have a different look to that. Can do a couple more. Come on. That's the only hard part, is making sure you go just slow enough and careful enough to not pop it out and crack it. And they just look so cool, the marbling. I've never thought about doing that. They would be so perfect for dip cookies also. Oh yes, that's such a great idea. These would look great like on either cookie pops or, like you said, dipped Oreos and stuff. That would be super cute for a topper. And also some like nice fall sprinkles, like some nonpareils or something. Oh, see, that's what happens if I go a little bit too fast. So let's try that one again. But over here with a lot of marbling. Oh. Carefully. Because this one is, like, you can tell this one is a little bit easier because it's wider, it's more connected. This one's a little more spread out. So I'm gonna go a little bit slower with this one. Kind of, oop. I did not realize I was using that much pressure. Okay, let's try you one more time. The leaf. You could also do this, like I said, with solid colors and do like a pumpkin mini cutter and just have a super simple little pumpkin. You could do the red and have an apple mini cutter. Like I got this set a while back from Joann's, and these are the other ones in that set. So there's a little acorn, there's apple, I think kind of like a daisy flower, and then pumpkin. So many possibilities. You can make a whole set of little topper, different colors and shapes and everything. Okay, leaf. We can do this. Haha, okay. Just got a little bit of that excess stuff on the side we can clean up later, but that's another one of our, I think this one's my favorite, super marbly. And hello, thank you for joining. Okay, so we just finished our second topper. I was planning on doing only 2, but we have some more time. So let's do one more that's a little bit more detailed, but I think it's still really fun. Okay, so I'm taking a truffle, and I have this one in the fridge because it's just been so hot still. So it's nice and solid, which we want when we're dipping. We don't want it to be too cold. That's my only concern at the moment, is that it might be a bit too cold for our melts. But we can make it work. I do need these to be more melty. I'm gonna add some more orange to my orange one. Okay. So we're going to, pardon me. So weird how I can still have allergies when it's 100 degrees. Okay, so we're gonna melt down some more of our orange, and we're gonna make a pumpkin. Starting with like 25 seconds or so. And, oh, how are you? I'm doing pretty good. How are you? I still can't believe it's September, even though we're like 6 days in. I'm very excited for a lot of Halloween and fall stuff coming up. I was looking forward to it like for months, but it feels like it came very quickly at the same time. Okay, let's give this a mix. Kind of break up those pieces. We don't want to overheat our melts. I'm good. What are you making? Oh, that's good. I'm glad you're good. What are you making? I'm making some fall cupcake topper ideas. And we did 2 of them so far. And this is our 3rd and last one. Just trying to get these melts. Oh, got a little bit of melts that fell on the side. Okay. A little bit more time. We don't want to overheat our melts like usual, so I'm going to do 10 seconds or so and then stir again to see if that helps melt the rest. For anybody just joining, this was the one that we just finished. So we did some cool marble leaves that we can do for cupcake toppers, but honestly also just miscellaneous treat toppers. Someone actually mentioned, I think it was Deborah mentioned doing like dipped cookies and putting them on there, which would be super cute. And what else? Like also on the side of a cake or something like that. And then of course we did the classic little acorn treat. These are honestly really good just eating them by themselves, but I love using those for decorations for fall. Okay, see if this melts the rest of them. I think I might need to get a little tiny bit of vegetable oil if it feels like this one is like just a little bit too thick. Okay, I think all of our pieces are done melting. Let me get... Okay, so we don't need much, just a little bit. The acorn looks so good. Thank you so much. Ooh. Okay, so I added just a little bit of vegetable oil to thin this out. You can also use, I've heard of like Easy Thin, Paramount Crystals. I honestly just use a teeny bit of vegetable oil because that's what we have on hand for other cooking and other baking stuff. Okay. That's a lot better. That's way better for dipping. If your melts are too thick, they're just gonna get all like, I don't think this is a word, but globby is what comes to mind. So definitely you want them to be thin enough, like not so thin that they're gonna just run right off and they're gonna be way, like melt too easily if you're holding it. But you definitely want them to, you know, kind of go back into the melts nicely. That's kind of the consistency that I look for. Okay. Let's also grab, actually I could just use the corner of that pan. Okay. So we have the same cake tester stick tool thingy that I was using just a little bit ago for marbling. And we're going to poke our truffle. Okay, just so it's not going to fall off, nice and secure. And we're just going to make sure it gets fully coated. Okay, and then I'm also going to, I think I want to do a separate little spoon. So I'm going to take my spoon and just use the tip to go along like that. Might get a little bit chocolate if we dig too deep, but we're trying to create those ridges that pumpkins have. And just go straight down and go straight down. Just keep doing that all the way around. Let's do one more. Okay, looks a little funny right now, but we're gonna do another, I'd say probably like 2 coatings or so. I'm gonna do a few of them. So that's how it looks at the moment. And I think I'm actually gonna get out, I think that might be better. Because the stick is gonna stay attached to our little pumpkin here. So let me cut off a piece of parchment paper. I'm stealing from the leaf. Okay. So we're just gonna set it down. I have a little bowl here with parchment paper. And we're just gonna go like that. And try our best to keep it up. I think because of the bottom has like a little like bolt bump and something like that. So maybe hold it like this for a few seconds. If I can find something to kind of prop it up in the fridge, I'm gonna do that. Okay, this little thing, I think I'm gonna use, I've done this before for a cupcake topper when I made like into a jack-o'-lantern, but I haven't done just a regular pumpkin. But I'm gonna use, I think this, I'm super technical over here, butter knife, and just kind of let it support itself like that. Transferring this to the fridge to sit. Stay. Okay, I think that's gonna work. Okay, that should set pretty quickly. Hello, thank you so much for joining, and happy Friday. And while I'm letting that set, I'm keeping an eye on our melts, which we might have to remelt just a little bit, but they still look pretty good. So I'm gonna call them good still for now. But for our upcoming lives, starting next week, we have Halloween themed lives coming up, and they're not on the schedule just yet, or not a published schedule just yet, but I'm working on updating that this weekend. So you can look forward to same day and time every week, unless I let you guys know ahead of time that something changed and I have to move it. But we're gonna have a bunch of Halloween. It's basically like for the next, I think, 7 weeks or something like that. We have Halloween themed lives coming up. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. And like I said, I'll make sure to put out the schedule both on the community tab where you can kind of see ahead of time each one individually, and then also on like a condensed schedule on the community tab. I'll make sure to put them up in both spots so you can see them easier. Okay, I want to make sure it's set, but let me check on it. Okay, I think it's, looks like it's pretty set. Yeah, that's good to go. We can do another dip in. Okay, once again, we're gonna do the exact same thing we just did. We're gonna create those ridges one more time. Make sure it's fully dipped. And we're working kind of fast just to make sure that the melts don't set too fast. Kind of shake it and go right along the same exact ridge lines that we just did. All right, just like that. And oh, got a couple little air bubbles over here. Go away. We're gonna dip this one more time, but we can kind of do a quick little shaky shake to get some of those to settle. And kind of brush some of the excess off there. Same thing, pop it into the fridge to set. And then, like I said, we should only need one more think one more dipping round and we should be good to go. Okay, round number 2 is done. And Laura says, Spain, hello from, I'm in the US, hello to Spain. Let's see, I think we're all caught up with our other messages for now. Okay. So those still look pretty good. I might want to do like 5 seconds in the microwave just to make sure that they stay really nice and melty. Because if they start to cool also too quickly, then again, that's another time where they just kind of clump up on our little truffle that we're coating. Okay. Let's see, what else? Told you guys about that. Oh, if you guys like baking a lot and you either want to do a business or you have business, you want to do more stuff with it, or you just love baking as a hobby, I am teaching a class at the Bake Fest, the holiday edition, coming up in just about a month actually. It's on the 5th and 6th of October. And it's a really cool 2-day virtual baking conference. So if you want to check that out, tickets are on sale now. And if you use my code AdventuresNam15, then you get 15% off of your ticket price. So that's always a lot of fun. I love to attend as many classes as possible. And they also give you recordings of all the classes for a year afterward because there's like 3 or 4 classes going on at the same time. So it's obviously impossible to attend every class live. And I'm very excited because I'm teaching a spooky, cute Halloween cookie pop class. Hello, thank you so much for joining. All right, once again, it should set pretty quick. Let's see. Yeah, maybe just a few more seconds while I lightly remelt this. It's still fairly runny, but I can just kind of tell it's just a hair starting to set a little bit. Just a few seconds. Okay, this feels pretty good. Okay. So our melts are still nice and loose, which is what we want. And we're going to do, like I said, we should only need 1 more round of dipping. Get some of that extra off of there. I think I'm going to I want that to kind of like clump up on the bottom of our final product. So let me get those melts off. Okay. So now it's ready to go. And then, like I said, with this one, we're not going to go over the ridges again. We've already done it twice. So when we do our final coating, it should just cover everything. So all we see is orange, but you're going to see those kind of like defined areas. And like I said, I've done this before for a tutorial video that I posted, I believe 2 years ago, I want to say. And that was for a Halloween video, but this one is specifically for fall. So you can add some, oop, I can tell the stick is like, the truffle is getting kind of heavy. Kind of shake off carefully the excess. I usually would hold it straight up, but I don't want it to fall off into the melts. Kind of brush off those excess so it's not too thick on the bottom. Okay, I think that's pretty good. They're a little bit more defined than I thought, so maybe it just depends on the thickness of the melts. I think I used different melts when I made this before, so it just kind of depends on how thick they are, but I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks like a pumpkin. Okay, let's let it set, and then we can see if we want to dip one more time or not. Okay. Let's see, looks like we're all caught up in the chat. Oh, and also, if you haven't seen them yet, I have the series that I'm doing right now is Halloween themed weeks for the next, I guess we're at like 7 or 8 weeks before Halloween. So this week is Bat Week, and next week is going to be Mummy Week. And so every week up through the few days before Halloween, we're going to have a theme to every week and something, you know, skeleton, witch, all that kind of fun stuff. So, and we have every single day is a different item. So we have mini cakes and cupcakes, cookie pops, pretzel treats, cake pops, and hot chocolate bombs, even savory sundaes, some of those things. So stay tuned for all the fun Halloween stuff coming up, especially if you love a particular theme for Halloween. Let's see. Let's check on our pumpkin. Okay, we look pretty good. I think everything feels fairly set. I didn't get enough off the bottom like I wanted to, but we might be able to just, sometimes I kind of take that and squish it on parchment paper, and it kind of helps remove some of that excess. Just making sure not to melt it. Yeah, so I can keep cleaning up the bottom a little bit more. For the stem, this was actually kind of like a bonus one. So I didn't have a particular plan for the stem, but I think I have an idea. So let me grab a different, where are you? A different food brush. And we're gonna put a little bit on the top right here because I obviously want to cover up this little hole. We could also actually, I'm gonna take my paring knife and just lightly, just kind of going up a little bit. Just kind of removing that excess little piece on top. Now we're going to add a little bit of our melt here. And I think I want to try out adding a little mini chocolate chip because I have another one left over from our acorns. We're going to flip it upside down. And then kind of hold it there straight as you can for just a few seconds. And hey, that kind of looks like a stem. Not perfect straight, but like straight up and down. But it looks kind of cute, huh? And like I said, if you want to do this one for Halloween, just I used like a food brush and just painted some yellow melts on the outside or some black melts, either way. But there's our little pumpkin. So let's look at all the ones that we made today. So we've got our pumpkin that we just finished. Let me know in the comments, and later this will be posted if you missed any parts of it or want to go back and watch certain things. This will be available to view later, so let me know in the comments either now or later which one is your favorite. So we have our little pumpkin here, and then we have our cute little acorns that are super, obviously the easiest one out of everything we did today. And then here's our little marble leaves that we made with some candy melts. Let me know which one you like the best, and if there's anything specific you'd like to see coming up on the channel, then feel free to let me know. Like I said, we have a lot of fun stuff coming up. I'm craving pumpkin soup. I don't think I've ever actually had pumpkin soup, but that sounds really good. I love soup weather. I love making a lot of different soups, so I'm very excited for the weather to get nice and cold again. Let's see. I think that is it for today. If there's any other questions, let me know in the chat now. Of course, feel free to let me know in the comments later if you see this posted later or you want to say something after the live is over. I think that's it though. I'm not seeing any more questions come in. So I hope that you guys have a really great weekend. And like I said, keep checking out the shorts that are coming out, and there's more fun content coming up for sure. I'll make the pumpkin one for sure. Oh, yay! Let me know how it goes. I know it's like, it's a little bit tedious to keep dipping it, but I think it turns out so cute. Let's see, what chocolate did you use? Oh, great question. I used, for everything today, I believe they are, do I have the bag with, for this stuff, I used Members Mark brands. They had it for a limited time last fall. So if I had to guess, they're probably going to have it again. I used the dark chocolate melting wafers, which are kind of taste like milk chocolate, if I'm honest, for all of the regular chocolate melts. And then for the other ones, I used the vanilla melting wafer version. But I am really excited to test out from a different company that I bought stuff like a few months ago. It's the Stover and Company, not Russell Stover, but Stover and Company. They have really great melts that I've been testing on with hot chocolate bombs. And I got some other kind of melts that are kind of similar to these types of melts. So I'm really excited to test out how theirs are. Because so far the melts that I use for the hot chocolate bombs are super, just, they taste really great and they melt like a dream. So, what's it? Hi, how old are you? I am 31. You're welcome. Thank you so much for asking the question. Do we have any other questions? Just waiting in the chat for a sec. I use the Stover brand in all my chocolate. I can definitely see why. It was on my list for a long time to buy from them. And finally, actually after the Bake Fest that happened in spring, there was a coupon code for their melts because of attending the Bake Fest. And so I decided to finally buy some. And I bought their, well, I have a bag right over here. I got some big bags. So I got it's called Sweet Shop Ultra White Melting Wafers. And so these are kind of, I believe, the closest thing to like the vanilla melts that I usually use. But from what I understand from other creators that I've seen use these, they really prefer Stover and Company. And then for the hot chocolate bombs, I've been using these, which are super melty, so I have to be really careful not to let my, the heat from my hands during summer melt them while I'm using them. But the Dark Deluxe, specifically 1101 from Stover and Company, it tastes so good. It's a European coating compound is what it's called. And for hot chocolate bombs, I haven't melted one down yet, but just like the flavor of the melts themselves, I can tell is going to be so good for all the hot chocolate bombs that I'm making for, especially like the Halloween themed weeks that we have coming up. Every Thursday is going to be a hot chocolate bomb. So I love them so far, and I'm really excited to finally try out the ultra white melting wafers and the chocolate ones. I want to learn how to make cookie suckers. Oh, do you mean like cookie pops? Like you pop the Oreo on the stick and everything? If that's what you mean, let me know, Deborah. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Let me know if I'm saying it wrong. Yes. Okay, perfect. So I do have every Tuesday for the next 7 weeks, I think. I have a cookie pop video coming out every single week for Halloween themed. And I've also shared a few other ones. I should actually put a cookie pop playlist together. So you can see like both the tutorial videos and also the shorts videos all relate to cookie pops. But I have those coming up. And then, like I said, if you love baking, you're a hobby baker or you're a professional baker, you're anything in between, basically, even content creators like myself. If you do have an interest in that kind of stuff and you'd love to attend the Bake Fest, the 2-day virtual baking conference, then I am teaching specifically a cookie pop class. It's an 1.5-hour class at the Bake Fest. So if you want even more details beyond my videos, then feel free, you can ask me questions about Bake Fest or anything like that. But also if you have just questions in general, specifically about Cookie Pops. But now that you mention it, I will make sure to do a whole playlist because I've done some lives, I've done tutorials, I've done shorts videos with the Cookie Pops. So I love Cookie Pops. They're a lot of fun to make. Let's see. You were fine. Okay, thank you. Do we have any other questions before we hop off live for today? Just waiting a sec just to make sure there's no other questions while we're on. Like I said, feel free to comment later and ask questions. Let me know the type of stuff you guys want to see, but I do have a lot of fun stuff planned coming up. I think I mentioned everything. And like I said, I'm very excited to test out these melts. I have them, they're like right here staring at me. And I'm like, I've heard of like also mixing the ultra white melting wafers with the 1101 wafers. So I'm very interested to see how that consistency is because I have a few baking friends that make super cute cookie pops also that they say it's just a dream to dip with. So let's see. I'm not seeing any more questions pop in the chat. So I think we're going to hop off for today. Don't forget to let me know either in the chat now or later in the comments. I'll also post pictures of these so you guys can see all of them. Maybe I'll even do a poll later to see which one is your favorite. So just let me know. And what are you making? Thank you so much for asking. We just made some 3 different fall cupcake topper ideas. Or actually, they're like little treats. It can also be for cupcake toppers. It can be used for cookie pops and cakes and all that kind of fun stuff. So I made this cute little pumpkin. And this is actually made out of a truffle. And then we have these little acorns that I make every single fall because they are so quick and easy. And then these are just simple little candy melt marbled leaves that I made with little I was say cupcake cutters, little cookie cutters that are just really easy to pop out really quick. Looks good. Thank you so much. All right, do we have any more questions? Thank you guys so much for being in the chat and asking your questions. I really appreciate it. I love being able to talk to you guys on live. When I have to talk to myself, I feel like I just keep talking. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions pop in the chat. So that is our live for today. And thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you being here, asking questions, all that kind of fun stuff. And like I mentioned, lots of fun short stuff coming up that are Halloween themed. It's one of, if not my favorite holidays. So very excited for our themed weeks coming up and a lot more fun stuff ahead. And like I said, our next live is next week, same time, same day, and it's going to be our first Halloween themed one for Friday the 13th, which is actually perfect. So I'll update that schedule very soon. And in the meantime, I will see you guys very, very soon. And I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. Try to stay cool out there if it's still hot like it is where I am. And yeah, all right, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.